thought I'd switch up the angles on this one. So today's video is about Ramadan. Starting tomorrow, we are Friday today. So Ramadan Kareem to all the brothers and sisters watching. But yeah, no, today's video is about gains, right? A lot of us are going through, a lot of us stressed out, wondering about how we're going to maintain the gains that we made through the year and stuff like that. And I am here to share with you pretty much what I've been doing every year to go through this time of my life. I'm not Mr. Olympia or anything. I do know, I think, a few things about putting on some or maintaining basically progress that I made through the gym. And that's what I'm trying to share or document today. So the first thing is that you have this window of time, right? Which is between 6 p.m., let's say, to 3. We got to establish already, things that we all know, that the priority here is not the gym, but it is something that is important to a lot of us. And so it's important to negotiate and not negotiate, but, to find some place where we find peace. That being said, what I typically do is break my fast with usually a bit of carbs. I don't have a meal when I break my fast, because then I get lazy. When you eat a lot and then you can't do the same amount of exert the same amount of energy through a training. And so I just break my fast with a little bit of carbs, so bread, dates, or something of the sort, and then I have some coffee. What a little bit of carbs does is it gives you a bit of energy, something to work with, and then the caffeine or something typically just wakes you up a little bit, just like pre-workout, but it's not necessary, the caffeine part. Then I would do my training, and I change it a little bit, but I go for high intensity training. I don't know what kind of training you do, but it could be cardio, it could be something of the sort. I just try to concise it a little bit more and go for high intensity. So you go in there, and this is not the time to chat, to talk with the boys, to I don't know what. This is time to get to work. And so high reps, high intensity, short, exerts, and then low rest periods, and boom, 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 boom. And my trainings typically range from like around 45 minutes. That 45 minutes, what it does is that it makes sure also that I get to allocate the rest of the time for the responsibilities through the month. And so, this is a little time to preach a little bit about the reminders to not miss the prayers. So you get by doing this to not miss any of the prayers. And then after that first workout, for about 45 minutes, I get my first meal. Now we're looking at about, you break your fast at like 5:45. By like 6:30, you out of there. Now it's time for your first meal. Then 2 hours after the first meal, pretty much I'll have my second one. So let's say you go to do that the night prayer, the Shah. You go to Taraweh, you come back, you get your second meal. Boom. Every one of those meals is high in protein. So let's say high proteins and in carbs. So rice and chicken, pasta, and tuna, a combination of those. So we're looking at to aim to about 30 grams of protein per each. And the third meal, so now you have your second one, you can go to sleep. You could wake up at like 3. This is what I would wake up at like 3 or something like that, and have my third meal. So you can crack 2 cans of tuna, boom, boom, boom. They're $1 each. That's about 30. It's about 60 grams of protein for 2 cans of, if I remember correctly. I think it's 30 grams of protein per can, or 26 grams. So times 2, 52 grams of protein, and you'd be blessed. Like, I don't see how you can, as long as, what I've noticed is that the carbs intake that I had a lot to do with the muscle growth or how I felt through the day, because carbs are sugars. They're related to the energy. They allow you to keep a higher mood. And yes, they do account for some fat, but they also account for what you burn in order to stay in a positive mindset and all that. Yeah. That being said, the key thing that changed the whole game is not only the carbs, but it's also the water intake. So what you want to do is through the whole time, but mainly right before you go to sleep, is to chug water. I'm talking until the stomach like hurts almost. And you can, do some trial and error. I'm not a doctor, so like, but this is what I do. I would drink water until like my stomach borderline hurts, and at that point I know that I won't be dehydrated through the day. And I noticed that when I got to my training, that was a key thing that like would make a difference, because I was not dehydrated to the day. And a lot of times what actually gets into our way of gym progress is the mindset that we have towards it. So you go to the first day and now you're like, oh my God, like I'm dying. I think I'm losing. I feel so terrible. I must be losing all the progress I've made. And now you start to feel all terrible. You start to think terribly. You start to move terribly. You won't even work out. And you start to, it just downward spiral. So you want to negate that by making sure that you have enough water, that you approach this time not as you're not on the defensive, you're on the attack mode on this. You're the one going through this time. You're not just receiving it, right? And so yeah, there's a whole other philosophy for this, but I'm gonna keep it simple. A lot of water, good mindset, and 3 meals or 2 meals in a protein shake. That's also an option. And high carbs. What I've noticed for me is that when I did that through my time fasting, I was usually able to even gain weight or see progress, even though I spend my whole day not eating. And this is the key point. Sometimes we have this placebo effect that I don't eat, I must be dying, but I must be like losing weight or whatever. You gotta remember, your body doesn't care about the time frame. Your body does not know. Your body's not like, yo, it's 11, okay, yeah, time to lose weight. Your body just works on reserve, intake, and output, right? Whether it's a 24-hour cycle or sometimes it's, as long as you have the intake, it doesn't matter when it is, you understand, to a certain extent. Like, so whether you have the food between 7 and 3, or you have it throughout the day, there's an adaptability period. Your body adapts for a certain amount of time, and that's what like sucks a little bit. But after it does, the rest is pretty easy, because you realize that most of it was you like struggling in your own mind, and that is also something that you have the opportunity to work with through this month. And so I wish you all a good Ramadan. I hope that this makes sense. If you have any questions, let me know, and stay up.